Hi everybody, it's Susan and welcome to my tutorial on how to personalize your seam binding. Right here I have some of this material. I'm just going to cut a piece off for the sake of the video because I do not have a project that I'm adding this to currently. And so you're going to need a piece of seam binding. Of course you'll need a scissor to cut a piece. You'll need any color distress ink by Tim Holtz, and I prefer the vintage photo. Okay, many people have asked me, what do you use to stamp with? And I had to receive at least 30 emails on this. And what I prefer between the StazOn and this, I like the archival ink because it is waterproof and it does not smear. So for those of you who'd like to try this project, you would need to buy one of these. It's about $7, and when you press down on it, don't press hard with your stamp. Just gently tap it until the words are covered or the picture, and then place it onto your seam binding. You'll need some kind of tweezers and a mini mister or some kind of a water mist of some sort. And you'll also need a color of your choice that you would like to use in a glimmer mist. I'm going to use the gold. Let me just get that off of my shelf here. Okay, sorry about that. And that's what my goal is, because this is a champagne colored, like a taupe color seam binding. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this really small stamp that I have, and it says I love you on it. I love the way this looks. I thought it was really pretty, but I'm also going to give it a shot with some script, because I may just do I love you and some script together. So this is going to be a first one for me, guys, okay? Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up this archival ink pad, and I'm just going to gently tap on, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm totally in picture here. Alright, and if you see, and I'm just going to see if I can zoom up here. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently tap it on here, and then I'm going to stamp lightly, let go. Now can you see that? See how it says I love you on there? Doesn't that look so cute? Okay, and then just gently tap it again and hit gently, stamp down, and you have the I love you there again. And I want this to be like a running tape. Okay, I'll do the other side. Alright. And this is not going to run when you wet it, so don't be afraid to wet it. And I'm going to experiment here live right on this tutorial to see if I can combine the script with the I love you. I don't have many small worded stamps like this, but I was making a project and just came about doing this, and I really liked the way that it looked. So now I'm going to get the script stamp, and I'm going to just hit this really light because this is very narrow, alright? And I'm just going to hit it. Let's see, is that working? It's not bad. Hit it. And it's just got a very light little bit of script going on in the background. Okay? Which, I'm sorry that I kind of done that because I really don't like the way that looks. So let's toss that to the side and start over. Alright? So now you guys know that doing a double script is not going to work on that. So I'm just going to quickly stamp here for the sake of this video, guys, okay? So just give me a second, and I want to make sure I stamp on the right side. Okay? I'm hoping that you can see me do this. There we go. I'm just going to see if I can go out. There we go. And just keep stamping. This is all in good fun, guys. So unless you're selling it and you need it to look super perfect, then I would worry about it just a little because someone's paying for it. Alright, and for those of you who don't have a craft mat, go get one. Okay, and I had seen a Tim Holtz video where he had put some of his colorful ink down on his craft mat, spritzed it a little bit with some water, and he was using that with paper, and I thought, how cool would this be to use it with my seam binding? And you just gently drop it in. Alright, and again, we're not going to worry because the black ink is not going to run off because this is waterproof. And I'm using my tweezers because I really don't feel like getting ink all over my fingers. And then I'm just gently moving this through with the tip of my my tweezers. I get really tongue twisted, that's why I don't do tutorials, but I'm trying to do more of them. So okay, now I've wet most of this with ink here. Alrighty, and this looks very cool, guys, in person. So if you try it, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. That this, in the end, this kind of almost looks like a personalized ribbon. And what I like about it is you don't have to make it look wrinkly at all, which I will be. But if you want to use a long strip like this and you have a really small, where you want to stamp hearts or something else, you can. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep with what I have here. Okay, I'm hoping that you can see that. I'm just going to spritz a little bitty bit of Glimmer Mist on there, which gives a really nice touch to it. And now I'm going to make a little bit of noise, guys, and I'm going to use my heating tool. Any heating tool works. And I'm just going to squeeze this in the middle. While I'm doing it, I really don't pay attention on being perfect. I don't follow any rules of anybody's. I make up all my own stuff. And here we go. So I'm just smushing this around. And now I'm just going to grab it. And I'm going to, can you see what I'm doing here? Let me just straighten out this a little bit more. Okay. I'm just drying this with my hands and I'm scrunching it. Hoping you can see this. And it's really, now, you know, those of you who have made some of those lollipop flowers know that when the heat hits the material, it shrivels up. And that's what really is making this have like a vintage kind of feel, and that's why we have tweezers here, so that does not happen. Okay, and the more you scrunch it and you roll it and you play with it, your seam binding starts to dry because you wet it with the water, the ink, and the Glimmer Mist. And you really do have a really pretty piece of seam binding or ribbon that has, and I'm going to just zoom up a little closer on that and see, hopefully you can see how pretty that looks. See that? It's got a really nice gold shimmer. Now, you know, you can use white and you can use, you know, like a light pink possibly, another pink ink, or the brown ink maybe a little bit with some pink shimmer, not to overdo anything at all. But it's totally dry. The edge is frayed just a little bit. Nothing smeared because I used the archival ink in jet black, which is waterproof and smear proof, so no worries there. And you can see it. Sorry about that. I'm using one of these stretchy tripods. And you can see that none of it has smeared. It looks really pretty. And you know, you can just really, I mean, I'm just going to grab a tag that you guys have already seen. Okay. And, for example, if you just want to like stick this down right there, how cool does that look? I mean, I'm not fixing it to be the way I would normally like it to sit, but you can see how that sits on a tag somewhere. And I had previously made one that I put on a video, and since my desk is a wreck I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, and you can see that on this tag here that I have made, the I Love You seam binding is done just like this one, but I think I used possibly a little less ink. I might have used a little more water. I might have used a little more glimmer mist, and that's why it kind of has a little bit more of a yellow effect. I think I did use more glimmer mist. And so, you know, as you're going along, I mean, you can try it and see what you like. A very simple process for an original way of making your seam binding turn into a ribbon. If you have a gift for someone and you want to tie this around a ring box, a bracelet, if you want to go off totally and use a whole yard and tie it around a box for a shirt. I mean, just think of it, guys. You can make, like, if you have a little girl and you want to make a pretty hair ribbon, I mean, you can use that the freestyle tabs of the typing letters of the stamps, and you know, put like Gabriella all across in ink, and then glimmer mist it, and then tie it, you know, on your daughter's hair in the back, or even like, you know, on her jacket, or make a bow and hang it from the center of her blouse. And there's a million things and ideas that you can come up with using the seam binding. Again, I do believe that these craft items are not only for crafts, but can be used for home decor and other personal projects. So I hope this tutorial, which was pretty quick, has helped you to make some of your projects stand out a little bit more. It doesn't have to be wrinkly. It can be just straight and regular without, you know, make it. If you don't want it to be wrinkly, I'm sorry I'm tongue twisted, guys. I'm very tired. What you can do is just stamp it just like that. Don't wet it, and just leave it. So, and the reason why this looks kind of funky is because that was the one where I stamped "I love you" on there, and then I stamped script right over it, which kind of ruined it. But it's good that that happened so that you can see, don't use two stamps unless you can space them out good enough. So, alrighty then. Well, I hope that you liked this tutorial. It was a lot of fun for me. There's a lot of colors on Wild Orchid Crafts that you can use to make your own vintage seam binding personalized. Thank you for watching, and have a great night. Bye.